Today we're going to be with Joanna. Let me add Joanna to the stream. Joanna Plaskonka. Good morning, Joanna. How are you?
Good morning. Thank you. I'm good. I'm happy. It's already Friday.
Oh, yes, Friday morning. That's nice. Then, well, I'm Guillem. All you know me from the channel. This is, let's say, an exceptional stream in English. You know that normally we stream in Spanish, but today Joanna asked us to join because he wants to be on the channel and talk about agility. And okay, well, Joanna, present yourself to the audience, please.
Thank you. So, as you already know, my name is Joanna. This is actually how you pronounce my name in my English, in my language. This is my Polish version of my name. However, English version like Joanna, Juana, maybe a bit Spanish one. Everything.
Juana, it's a Spanish. Yes, it's quite Spanish, I think.
Yeah. So yeah. Hablo español, pero solo un poco. And that's why I'm really happy that today we are speaking English. Short background about myself. So I'm an engineer. I studied control engineering and robotics. I'm located in Poland. I was born in Poland, and I'm still living in Poland. My professional career started in engineering and software engineering, actually, and I quickly became developer and Scrum Master in my team. And after a few years, I decided to pursue my career in Scrum Mastery, in Agile coaching, in improving my skills. So I joined different companies, different size, different products, different business model. So, for instance, software as a service, sometimes closer collaboration with a smaller group of customers, finance. I also used to work at university. So a lot of different experience. And I'm already PST for 2 years now. And I'm happy that my request to join was accepted. I'm happy to share some of my thoughts, spread the knowledge, because I think this is a part of being agile. You know, from Agile Manifesto, we improve the ways how we work by learning, by doing, and helping others to do it. Right. So today is about helping others.
Okay, I explained several times in the channel how I became a PST, but if you want to share your story, how did you become PST and why Scrum.org?
Oh, that's a good question. Very good one. So it happened a few years ago for me, before pandemic, that I was on Scrum.org training. So one of the Polish PSTs after the training came to me and he said, "You should become. That it's a path for you. I believe you have skills. You should take this opportunity." So I contacted Scrum.org, and we had first initial conversations. However, I decided to stop the path. I got pregnant. I was expecting my second child. So I thought maybe now it's time to focus on my family. And after some time, unfortunately, pandemic started. And when Scrum.org decided that maybe it's good opportunity to give this remote option, give it a try. I was a young mom, and Daphne from Scrum.org called me like, "Hey, Joanna, maybe you would like to do it remote." I think it was in January or in February 2020. Or no, 2021, and 2 months later, I've become a PST. So it was very quick path. I guess that I'm not 100% sure, but I think I'm the first fully remotely onboarded PST in this process. I'm sorry, Guillem. I think I'm not hearing you properly.
Sorry, yes, I was, because I have a hardware button here. Uh, did you were on the new path, or it was the classical path that you ran a class and then you have an extra day? How was your pre-training? Because I assume that you started the process.
So my process started with PSM class. So I had to choose a few options. And I remember I joined Ralph Johan class. That was a very, very good class, PSM class. And after that, when we received the feedback from Ralph and some piece of advice, because we PST candidates were actively participating as students. And after that, I had, oh my God, I don't fully remember, 3-4 sessions. Those the trainer sessions, extremely stressful for me because I was amazed by the knowledge of PST's trainers supporting us on that journey. That was a really intimidating experience for me. And in the meantime, we were checking all the PSTs, whether our examination assessment requirements are met. I was lucky to have all the requirements already there. So it gave me additional boost, and it went so quickly. Of course, later I had my peer review, another super stressful experience for me. Yeah, and whenever I'm there, on the other side, I'm really, really thinking about those candidates. Like I'm there for them. I try to support them, and I try to tell them like I've been there, 2 years ago, not a long time ago. I understand that you might be super stressed.
Well, my path was a little different. If somebody, I never explain it in English. Normally I explain in Spanish. I was a PST, the professional Scrum developer one. That was my way in Scrum.org. I remember being on Munich for 5 days, having different. I remember running a PSF, which is now APS, Professional Scrum Foundations, that now it's applying Professional Scrum. And from there, another 3 extra days of the professional Scrum developer, but today it's applying, I don't remember the name, applying professional Scrum with software development.
Yes.
That now it's 3 days and the other is 2 days. Well, it's 2 days and 3 days, depending, because now Scrum.org with the pandemic opened a little the way of delivering the trainings. They changed a little how they deliver the training, because it was, at the beginning, it was only 2 days and that's it. 100% in person, and that's the only option we have. And I remember that very long 5 days, starting at 9 p.m. and finishing like 7 or 8 in the evening, because we were a lot. I remember being like 12 or 15 candidates. And I spent like 18 months to join Scrum.org. I remember doing that on 2017, at the end of 2017. And for January 2019, I was a PST. And it was an extremely long path for me, at least. I spent, and then I inside. Now I have the 12 licenses that the Scrum.org offers, which are all that you know, being professional Scrum Master, being a product owner, being agile leader, and all this kind of stuff. And then I also grew in different ways in professional coaching and also in agile coaching with AC Agile and Pro Kanban. That there are 2 different ways. For now, the ones that want to be a PST, there's a new path. For the ones that are going to listen this podcast in Twitch, LinkedIn, or YouTube, or even only on audio, that is what we're going to delivers after we finish. It's different. You just apply for the applying professional Scrum, and then you get the license for that particular training. And then when you are already a PST, this is only one path at the moment, because in the past you could be a PST from PSM, from PSPO, from PSD. A colleague of mine, Ulises, the one that you know that we ran a weekly show, Ulises was a professional agile leadership PST that they even had the path on the website. And then you have to ask the path directly to Slam.org. And then there's the PSK PST also, that when ProKanban and no, not ProKanban yet. It was before ProKanban. When PSK just reached to the market, they decided to have strong Kanban names as PSTs in the community. And there's some of them that they just stay using Kanban, and some of them grow the path. That's how it used to be. Right now, I think that the things are more clear because there's only one path. And from there, you have more or less the same that buy from the website, somebody from Slam.org checks your CV. If they see a fit, they call you back. Normally, it's Daphne that calls you back and interviewing the candidate for being inside Slam.org, and then invites you, if you are suited and you pass the next step, they invite you to the training. And from there is the normal training that you are another student. And I think there's still an extra day where you can enable yourself to be a PST, and you get the feedback, what you mentioned, and from that feedback, you decide what to do. If you are in or out, maybe there's people that is discarded in that path. I know some of them that they didn't get along with Slam.org, and Slam.org just say, well, maybe you need to build more skills. And from there, I also remember that if you pass, I think there's a PST exam at the moment. I remember Ulises, when I mentor him, that they have some PST specific questions. And also you have to mark yourself, I think, reaching the level 3, because they changed level 3 like for PSM3 and PSPO3. I don't know the requirements because they're changing all the time. And then the peer review that you mentioned with another PSTs. And when you pass the peer review, if you are lucky, you are a PST. That's why I say that only 2 months doing this, it's very short time. I know a PST doing that in 4 weeks, but it's a urban legend that runs in the Slam.org community. But it's pretty fast in only 2 months. Then you are lucky. If you talk with another PSTs, it's at least 12 to 18 months process in the best scenario. Then, yes. Like you, Joanna.
I can add something.
Okay, I have more questions for you.
You have questions.
These days, I don't know how familiar you are with... Oh, of course.
So I just wanted to add that...
Yes, I have 3 or 4 questions because I want to run this like 30 or 45 minutes interview, but it's completely another thing. It's not something related with the PST journey. You can add what you want to add.
Okay, so now I'm scared. The pressure is on. I just wanted to say that...
Why?
Burning questions, difficult questions. So I just wanted to say that I've never heard from Scrum.org that you are out of the process. It's rather you have to, again, inspect and adapt. So I think that it's worth emphasizing that the communication is done in the way like you have to improve, and then you will be able to do next step. So it's not like telling someone, no, you will never become a PST. It's rather support in the learning. And I also heard from some of the people that tried to become a PST that they appreciate the overall experience as a learning experience, as an experience that helped them become the better person. So I think that it is important to say that Scrum.org has this attitude, of open doors. Sometimes you just have to repeat your steps again to improve.
Well, yeah, that is a case. Everybody is a different case, but sometimes they don't fit. And sometimes the Scrum doctor has to decide what to do. And it's a tough decision sometimes because there's people that is talented, but sometimes, well, I know some cases, and I'm not going to explain you here, at least live. I'm going to explain that if you want to know in person. Okay, then let's change the subject a little. This week, I'm going to change the ticker. You see that we have several. Yeah, we're going to change. If you already see the ticker that I just turn on, this week Safe 6 has been released. I am not a Safe cleaner. I don't know if you have experience with Safe or if you have any opinion
Not
about
much.
the release. It's something that I would like to listen.
Yeah. So not much.
Because I don't have any. Not much.
Not much, and I can
Okay.
I can share experience from some of my students. You know, that might be something valuable. So I had such students that were trained in Safe.
That could be great.
Hello, hello.
Okay. How was the training?
So they claim.
If I'm losing you or a little.
I think we're having a delay.
Yeah. The network. Okay. Joanna, let me check if you can hear me again.
Sure.
Okay, I can see you. Yeah.
Wonderful.
I think it's fixed. I changed my network. Okay, your students. We were talking about your students in Safe. How was the Safe training and the questions that arise?
Yes, so that was a really pleasant conversation, I have to say, because he asked me about my opinion about Safe, and I said openly, well, I'm not an expert. I have to be honest with you. However, I have to say that whenever I tried to understand, I had a strong feeling that there's a lot of things already designed there for you. And when I compared it to my experience, definitely, I think that we even discovered somehow Nexus or elements of Nexus even before Nexus was officially created and written down. While the Safe with more specific roles, with some more specific constraints, I would say, sounded to me like, will it always fit? Or another question that I always have in my mind, will it support Agile, or are there some scenarios that it will actually prevent the team's organization from maximizing the value of agility? So my student was very kind, and he said, you know, Joanna, I have to say that I'm happy that I learned about that, but for me, it's not agile.
So, wow, strong opinion.
That was his opinion. That was his opinion, and he claimed that he was happy that he attended Scrum.org course because we are talking more about principles, about values, showing how to build constraints, how to build boundaries for self-management, instead of giving, specific names for many things, instead of adding a lot of additional parts. So some people say, well, Scrum does not give me the answers. And I said, yes, I feel that Scrum is designed to ask you right questions. And those questions may guide you into finding your own answers. So that's my, let's say, the most fresh conversation about Safe.
About Safe.
With one of my students, yes.
Well, I'm going to explain you something about Agile611. We are CLI collaborators, Agile trainers. And I was not against Safe, but two of my colleagues get Safe training without inviting me because they assume that I would have strong opinions, or maybe I won't join, or I won't feed the training. Well, I don't know. I am not, let's say, against SAFe, but I am not in favor of SAFe because I think that it's too prescriptive. I know a little. I don't know much, but I see these nice posters that they have about the claims and how the organization is going to look like.
Yes.
And for me, there's no solution that fits all. Then it's a first stopper for me. SAFe could be for you. Things that are nice from SAFe, but your organization is your organization, and you know how to deal with problems, to deal with complexity. I can help you in some things, but I don't see you picking all the SAFe framework and do it like an installation, like you build something, a road or a building or whatever in your organization, because it's not, for me, it's not what agility is. Then my opinion is this one, that SAFe could help you. They are really good in marketing because they sell a lot. And if you check LinkedIn on my timeline this week, at least every day, I just saw 4, 5, 6, maybe 10 posts about Sage 6 from people, not from SAFe, from another agile coaches or Scrum Masters that I feel. And that's nice. And normally what I found when I help organizations is that they try SAFe, they did not succeed as much, and they then want me to help fix things. It's something that at least in these last 3 years, I found like 5 or 6 times on some clients that had help. And it's something that also surprised me, that they are keeping updating things. Well, let's see. Let's see how it goes. It's only what we call. And let's see how it goes. Because everybody wants to scale, and nobody wants to start small. It's something surprising to me.
Yes.
But that's the thing. Okay, I have another question for you.
More challenging questions.
Well, let's see if it is a challenge or not. How do you see the Scrum Master role in the future? That's another question that I get a lot. And I would like your thoughts and opinions. Yeah.
Oh, very
let
good
me
one.
put some context here. Normally, I receive the question that I want to start in agility. Maybe I would like to change my career, or I want to develop me professionally, or this kind of stuff. Or I'm a systems engineer and I'm completely stuck. I am not growing professionally. I would like to experiment or to grow somewhere else. Then that's a question that reaches that particular point. And normally what I say to my students or people that just reach me via WhatsApp or whatever is you have to decide what to do. You want to go to you have 3 paths, in my point of view. Be a developer as you are right now and grow and know more about developing software or developing the product that you're developing. Then go to the product management part and become a product owner with the agile mindset. That's another path, long path. Or be a change or a true leader for change, which is develop yourself as a Scrum Master. And if you want to grow outside the Scrum framework, be an agile coach or a change leader. That's my my small advice. I want to hear your advice or your opinion in this particular question.
I like that question very much because I would say that it's a connection to our previous question. So I also observe a lot of talking about SAFe. However, personally, I do not know any company that had a really huge success when it comes to SAFe. And I accept that, this is not a proof, right? This is not a scientific proof. However, the truth is the marketing, the recognition is impressive. That's my point. And when it comes to Scrum Master, maybe we should use accountability name as in Scrum Guide. I feel that a lot of depends on the perception. So I already observed in the Polish market that on one hand, there are still a lot of companies that they want to hire Scrum Masters, even internally. So create an environment where they can grow and become a Scrum Master in their team, or maybe join the other team as this change agent. However, I also believe that some of the companies felt disappointed, like they had bigger expectations. They thought that the Scrum Master will create revolution, while in fact I believe Scrum is about evolution. So small, consistent improvements, building new habits and learning. So I observed that in many companies, they started to hire, for instance, middle manager, definitely more than Scrum Masters. So that is a fun fact for me. And the good news is that many of those managers decided to learn about Agile, to learn about Scrum. So in fact, sometimes they take accountability of Scrum Master and help the teams grow. So maybe we should also emphasize that Agile leadership is also a thing. It's also a place where people can grow. So still be aligned with principles, still be aligned with empiricism, learning by doing, helping organizations achieve business agility. And maybe some of the companies will choose that way. Maybe they will no longer hire Scrum Masters as the official position, but instead they will appreciate Agile leaders.
Okay, sorry, but I lost my camera. I don't know what really happened. Give me 1 second. And let me just check if I can recover from there and be back.
No problem.
I assume that you can hear. I completely hear your explanation. And let me check if I can start my cam again. I don't know what happened.
I can tell you. This is the official.
Here I am.
Here you go. Wonderful. This is the official presentation. What does it mean to have complexity in your working environment?
Oh yeah, that's a thing that I always explain also in the training, where I put that complexity chart. And normally I say to people, how do you fit inside this complexity chart? Where is your initiative, your product, your project, whatever you're working on inside here? And for me, it's an explanation to say, well, everything, and I'm going to relate that to the question. Everything here, it's not Agile compatible, let's say it in those words. Maybe your, I don't know, sales department works nicely doing just flow and optimizing doing some optimizations in the processes that they are really doing right now, and that's good. But maybe you face challenges that are completely unknown, and then you need to change the way you work because it's something that you will need to inspect and adapt. That's something that I put always on the table in every single, let's say, in every single training that I ran. Okay, we have some comments from the chat. A question for Joanna. Maybe it's another thing. Joanna, could you recommend us how to facilitate a good sprint planning, please? Some questions from the chat. Let me hide here. And I have another questions in the chat that it's going to be later, but let's try to answer this.
Okay, so when it comes to facilitation of good sprint planning, I always say that good leaders over communicate the goals. So I believe that you can start with reminding all the people, to the whole team, what is our product goal, what is our mid or long-term goal. This is how I perceive product goal in Scrum, and thanks to that, we remember where is the compass. So this is the first thing. Second thing is that I think that good sprint planning is already, to some extent, already pre-prepared. So I would say that facilitation of backlog refinement activities, or maybe you have an official meeting, plays here quite an important role too. So if you did your work earlier, so you had a conversation about what's currently on our plate, what are the paths that we can take to create value, you will have the top of your product backlog ready, in the sense that this is reasonably good enough to take it to the planning. Then another question that I personally love very much: what is the minimum amount of work that we can do to deliver value? So instead of trying to let's push ourselves to do as much as possible, I try to ask a lot of questions about how to deliver value. Let's express those ideas in a written form. So user stories, again, a great complementary practice. For who, what will be the value, what kind of problems we will help to solve. And in my view, it's easy to start with the minimum amount of work and the goal that we will have in mind. That will be a stepping stone towards product goal. So going back and forth. So we start with bigger perspective. We go to this, what's happening in this upcoming sprint, in this current sprint. And again, when you have this first idea, you are crafting the sprint goal, do we all agree that yes, this contributes to the product goal? Another question: how will we recognize that we achieved our sprint goal? So it might be a question about measurements, a question about how to assess. That will help the team during the sprint check the progress. So it's easy in my view to start. It's easier to start with that approach. Do not think, let's do a lot of things. Let's focus on the value, what we can do as a minimum. And if you have some free capacity, if you realize that you can do more, wonderful. But please remember, complex world has its own rules, and you will have additional challenges. So you do not plan everything, every single hour of your work, because unknowns will pop up.
Okay. Carlos is one of our, let's say, regulars in these streams, a very active user, and has another question for you. Joanna, do you think it is worth taking the Safe Scrum Master training?
Very good question. And my opinion is, I don't know, because I do not feel comfortable when it comes to answering such questions, because I believe if I haven't participated, who am I to tell you what is my opinion, right? Yeah. So I can only pass what my students told me, that they appreciate this flexibility Scrum.org training give them. And still, they decided to take those trainings. They felt in their environment, Scrum.org approach to scaling worked better. But I cannot give you the answer because I do not feel competent.
Good answer then. Okay, and then I have a last question for you. Let me prepare just a little ticker. I don't know how many time do you have. I was planning to do like 45 minutes.
I think we can still continue.
Okay, if you have to leave or if you have a hard deadline, just let me know. The question is, let me prepare the ticket, and it's a very easy one. Why?
Maybe easy for you.
I don't know. It's very easy, I think. Why Scrum.org? And not another provider, not another, let's say, training provider. Why Scrum.org?
And to be honest, I felt like, for me, my journey, my Scrum journey started around 13 years ago. And when I met some people in Wrocław, I used to work there, now I'm located in Warsaw, they became trainers in Scrum.org. So okay. I knew that people, they were wonderful mentors, they were supporting me on my journey. And then later, for instance, I used to collaborate with Kate Hobler. I used to collaborate with Jakub Drzazga. So I think that they inspired me to take a look at that particular organization, because I felt like they are there. It might be a good sign. And I know those people, they are great.
And that's why, because you know some people.
That's my personal perspective. Yes, that's
why. Okay, I will tell you, normally it's my regular answer here, why Slam.org. Normally what I say is that, for me, that the strongest part from Slam.org is that Slam.org always has the content very curated. In the sense that the content that you have, it's not only your content. You have an stewards for every single part of the curriculum that they, let's say, preserve how good the content is. Another thing that I always say to the students that ask me why Slam.org is that being a trainer from Slam.org is not easy. And
yes.
Delivering the training, or asking me to deliver the training, was saying, well, there's only 5 or 6 Spanish-speaking trainers in the whole community. And I mentioned, well, it's not easy to be an Slam.org trainer. It's something that you need to really fight for and be a good professional to be a trainer. That's my question, because I remember being and reaching this conversation to Slam.org and saying, well, if you don't reach the level to be a trainer, you're not going to be a trainer. It's something that, from my perspective, is good, because you have to go to the top. And then when you are in the community, you see some things that you really see that the people that is there, for example, in a face-to-face or in any meeting that you do, they are top people. They have books, they have, I don't know, huge content in the internet. And, well, it's something huge. That's one thing that I say. Normally, I don't get a lot of complaints about the pricing. And in those markets, you'll see that they are different pricing. Well, I try to adapt to that. But if you check, for example, competitors from Slam.org, maybe Safe, they have also expensive trainings. If you check the Slam Alliance, they also have expensive trainings. If you check Slam, important is that, from my point of view, is that you really see who is behind. And in Slam.org, who is behind is one of the creators of the guide. And for me, that tops. If you really want a good Slam training, is Slam.org. Of different people delivering trainings, and you have a lot of, let's say, certified entities that are going to give you certified training, and it's not something that I would recommend. For example, I'm on a gig, and they received an online Slam training that was sold for a provider, and when I came after them, it was a different story. And they really think that the Slam was another thing, even another thing. And I don't know the level of the other trainings, but sometimes could be very disappointing. And that's and also an opinion that I would rather that you investigate a lot before getting any training, because it's something that if you have to invest on, it's something that you will need to really check. Okay, that's I don't know.
Answer. Mine now looks like I'm biased towards great people that I've met in the past.
That's something that you have in mind, because my questions are finished already. And I don't know if the chat, the chat has a question for us. You always have the chat. Do you think that it's positive for the Scrum team that a project manager participates in the retrospectives? Thanks. That's a good question. My short answer is no. There is no project managers in Scrum. That's very aligned with the guide and very aligned if you want to take the assessment. I would like to ask two things here. Why do you have a project manager? Because if you're running projects, depending on the kind of have a problem. And another thing is that the project manager is not allowed to go into the retrospective because the retrospective is from the Scrum team. And I don't know, Joanna, your points of view. What would you add in here?
Well, in fact, I think it's a good question to have a deeper conversation, because I've met organizations where they called Scrum Masters project managers. And if this is the case, then maybe we will have a bit different conversation. So I would start as you suggested. So how do you define this project manager? Who is this project manager? Why do you have this person? And I would go into the details. So in general, very short answer is sprint retrospective is for the Scrum team. So who belongs to your Scrum team? Who is either Scrum Master, product owner, or the developer, which means the person that is a part of the team creating increment.
That's a good thing. Yeah. And for me, another question that would also rise is this project manager doing micromanagement? For me, it could be a huge question to rise, because it's something that maybe we will need to check, because it's very sexy, let me put it in those words, to manage everything. But there are things that are unknown and they have a lot of uncertainty and they cannot be managed. Then what we do? We lie to ourselves in a lot of situations that sometimes is not something that I would like to be. And that's my answer. For me, it's not positive. And that project manager, why is that project manager even in the organization? I will challenge that. And it's a strong question, I know. And I'm putting all the project managers that are going to watch this live stream against me. But if I am not challenging the status quo, why am I changing agent or a Scrum Master or an Agile coach? It's something that I will also encourage to every single Agile coach that is out there, that they are not doing micromanagement. If they are doing micromanagement today and they call themselves a Scrum Master or Agile coach, they are another thing. With all the respect, they are in another role. It's another completely different thing.
Yeah, but I think we
Joanna,
all agree that micromanagement is not a part of Scrum, period.
No,
and no matter if you are calling yourself product manager, project manager, Scrum Master, choose your name. Micromanagement is not a part of Scrum. One of the principles is about cross-functional, self-managing teams of professionals.
Yeah, completely. I completely agree with you with this. Okay, let's see if the chat, we have people here connected. Let's see if they want to add something. You know, Carlos is always our, let's say, official questioner in the chat. He's very active and we're very happy to have him in every single stream. And he put some questions, very nice questions. I don't have further questions. If you have something that you would like to share or something that you would like to add.
Well, maybe I will add one more thing, as we are talking about challenging status quo. I have some kind of food for thought for all the leaders, managers. Maybe you are the leader, maybe you are collaborating with leaders. Please remember that managers, they have a lot of power, in the sense that they can help you in making changes. And this might be, this tough part of the work, right? Think outside of the Scrum team. You do not have very specific advice in the Scrum guide, how to collaborate with leaders, but they are there, right, in your organizations. So we are not saying that they are not needed or they do not exist. What we are saying is that they have a special and important role enabling this business agility, support Scrum teams to maximize the best value of the work. So micromanagement should not appear at any level, and I think it's always worth investing in helping the leaders, managers to realize what is agile leadership about. And this might be a huge change if they adapt to that, if they change their approach, because quite often they are decision makers. So they can help you a lot when you have a good collaboration, good conversation, and you find a common ground with them.
I hate command and control from the chat.
I hate it too. Whenever I meet any new leader, the first thing that I do in the conversation when they ask, "Oh, do you have some recommendations?" Yes, please read Drive by Daniel Pink. And surprisingly, almost no one knows about the book. And I think the book is extremely powerful because this is not the book like I'm the guru and I'm telling you. There's a lot of research. And I always try to remind people, like, even animals, they have, not maybe all of them, but at least some of the animals have the need to be happy with their work, right? Right? To have this mastery, this satisfaction from what they do. So why we are claiming that humans, especially in creative work, they behave like machines? They are not, trust me. I have a PhD in robotics, and I can tell you that humans are not robots in general.
Okay, great. I have another thing for you. I want to be in Joanna's training. How can I do it? How they can find your training, you, in social media?
So you can, my first and second name combined is quite unique, I would say. So I'm the only PST in this world with the name Joanna. So you can find me on LinkedIn. You can find easily my profile at scrum.org. And also my trainings, upcoming trainings are posted there. Most likely I will be planning more trainings in the near future. I do not have such big experience as Guilhem, but I'm still improving. I'm trying to become the best possible trainer and increase the skills that I can share with you.
Okay, you can find Joanna here in Scrum.org. The classes that Joanna has in this particular moment. Let me check if we are sharing. Oh, yes, I was sharing that properly. And then I can put you the link also in the chat where you can find Joanna if you want to attend one of his classes. If you see, there's a lot of Scrum Master, APS, PSM2, Agile Leadership. And we also can check, if you want, the trainings. Here you have the trainings that Joanna can help you with. And also consulting. Do you also consult if it's necessary?
Yes, of course. Of course, if you need or just want to have a coffee chat, I offer such meetings for free because I think that we all deserve this opportunity to build trust and to realize if we want to collaborate. So if you want to just have just a coffee with me, just let me know. I'm happy to arrange the meeting. So majority of my trainings, well, actually now I'm teaching only in English. So maybe one day it will change. Maybe I should improve my other language skills, but currently English, when it comes to training, is my first language.
Another thing that if you would like to know, for every single professional Scrum trainer, you have the ratings from Class Pilot, from the students in the class. Here you have the last ones from Joanna. And you can check it on the website. Let me just also put you in the chat the particular Scrum.org profile from Joanna. That could be a good opportunity also to connect with her and have that conversation. Okay, Joanna, then it has been a great conversation. I don't know if you would like to mention something else. Well, we have our last question from the chat before going to say goodbye. I am used to using Miro Mural. However, in some companies, it uses other tools that are not common. What recommendations would you give me for the Scrum Master to be able to handle and influence this situation? Oh, well, that's nice. A very challenging question. Okay, you go first, then I will go to run my answer.
So I would start with asking the question, what kind of problem are we solving? Because remember that Scrum and Agile is not about very specific tools like Miro, Mural, Jira, Azure DevOps, whatever. And I can share one of the stories. I used to work with a team that has literally one word shared with everyone document. It was called Our Team's Single Source of Truth, something like that. Wow. And they were updating it constantly with all the most important notes. They did retrospective in this file. They did planning in this file on this high level. Of course, they had some product backlog in a different place, but if you wanted to know anything about the team, about the product, that they are developing, about metrics they are using, what are current values, everything was there. And you know what? I was surprised, and that was a very strong lesson for me. It's not about the tools, because you can build transparency, collaboration, and common understanding in many different ways. So maybe that will be an inspiration for you.
Okay, and let me add, if Miro and Mural are collaboration, very visual tools for collaboration. Then, if you don't have, imagine, I face a lot of situations. For example, the organization is not willing to pay something else in licenses to collaborate. Let's see what you have already in place. Okay, if we are talking about distributed work, for example, if you are in the Microsoft stack and you have Microsoft Teams, you can also pinpoint a whiteboard already integrated in Microsoft Teams and work from there. If you use Zoom, there's also a tool integrated in Zoom for collaboration. Then Apple has one tool called Freeform, also for collaboration, that it's nice, but it's in the Apple ecosystem. And there's another tool called the Lucid Chart, I think it's the name, very similar to Miro and Mural. It's something. And if you don't have any further options, I know that you have Google Grow. That Google Grow was very famous for Henrik Niebuhr, the Spotify model intellectual father, that use Google Grow for the books and all the stuff that he's doing. Then here you have some tools that maybe could help you. I'm a Miro strong user. All my trainings were also Miro, not Mural. I started with Mural, but it was not as reliable as Miro was. And normally you have more challenges too, because sometimes you just assume that everybody with the link is going to access your Miro or your Mural, and they have firewalls, or I don't know what they have on the organizations that they cannot reach that. That's another challenge. I always ask if they allow me to use these tools, because there are some organizations that they ban these tools completely, and you don't have any option to to overpass that, and that is pretty challenging. And I declined some trainings just for this particular reason, because I am not comfortable doing the training in other things. And in person, if you check our new overlay, which is pretty, I would say, pretty new. I don't know if I can put only the overlay. No, that's you. I can share just the overlay to see the experience that you can see on our in-person class, which is, let's say, an in-hand mural mirror for people that is in your room in person. Let me check in here, which is this one. Let me just, that's a class. It's an in-person class running by me. There's no PowerPoint. It's 100% on paper. And it's clients and Miro and Mural, they are trying to mimic the same experience that you can have in a class like this online. That's why I'm a huge advocate for these tools, because you can collaborate a lot. The biggest complaint that I have with these tools is that they don't track. They don't have metrics integrated on them. You don't know when people is accessing the tool. You cannot run a Kanban with metrics inside those tools, for example. That could be great, but it's not yet possible. Then that's how an in-person class looks like when I deliver the training. And I'm very advocate for this. Because if people is waiting a PowerPoint from me, it's not the training I would like to receive as a student, for example. I understand that sometimes it has to be a class because the topic is so new that everybody needs to learn from that topic, but sometimes it's just it is just collaborating and having that kind of workshop. Okay, Joanna, we are on the top of the hour. And I think 1 hour is enough. You can come another day if you want. You'll see that we really like, you will really have some interactions. We're going to be live for the ones that right now are in here in 1 hour. Our weekly show is going to be 1 hour and a half before our, let's say, official time. But you get, if you are subscribed, you get every single notification when we start the live show. And this show is going to be on YouTube at the moment, and it's going to be on LinkedIn. And also it's going to be in audio only in the regular channels that we have. Okay, but it's an interview and a conversation that I'm going to upload in audio next week, because today with 2 different audios, we're going to stress our audience because they are just waiting for one chapter. But on Tuesday, we're going to release this on Tuesday next week. And we are also going to announce in our daily show, in our weekly show, that we had the conversation with you. We're going to post the link if they already want to have the link. And basically that's it. That's it, Joanna, from my part. You can add whatever you want to add. I have my ending that our audience knows. And if you don't have something else to add, let me just start the ending music from here. And we are going to say goodbye to the episode. Bye-bye. Bye-bye.
Carlos, feel free to contact me via LinkedIn.
Okay. He will engage. He will.
Wonderful. So thank you very much. It was a pleasure. How do we say? Muchas gracias.
Muchas gracias.
Muchas gracias por todo.
See you.